Is this me?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for taking my call. I'm a recent new listener. I really appreciate the work you do. Just on the topic, actually, so I had one question. I want to see if I can make a quick plug as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is related to Israel and Gaza. Do you think there's any value in trying to argue on behalf of, like, approaching it from what's in America's best interest in addition to the humanitarian perspective?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I think that, like, at least in the conversation I have with people in my friend group, I live in San Francisco, and yeah, everyone's, sorry, I just have a cold on my end. Yeah, I think people, like, they hear the news, they think it's really sad, but also I think people seem to be more directly impacted when they know that, I don't know, something that affects American interests, affects their pocketbook and stuff like that.
I mean, talk about it from this perspective. What is going to happen? Do you think that the people who are experiencing this kind of slaughter are just going to take it? Or is there going to be a massive resistance movement to come out of this? And if you like,
and whose bombs are these that are being dropped on them?
It's your tax dollars. Those are ways to get to conservatives. Like I know somebody that's actually through another person that's works at Fox News and as a producer, and they were saying like they're even starting to get a little bit nervous. Like, oh, this is a little over the top here. And we're about a year out from a bunch of people pretending like they were against this the whole time. But the point is just that, like, if you can make that argument to conservatives about even how much money we're sending to Israel, that's probably a way to get through to them.
But it's also it undermines our ability to get anything done in the region. I mean, there is a fantasy that exists in the minds of people like Brett McGurk and Hochstein and other sort of neocons. Joe Biden could be one of them. I mean, to the extent that we can tell what's in his mind at these days, that has existed for over, I would say now we're in year 30. And you can go back to the Project for a New American Century. Dick Cheney was a signatory. Others who have since left us, but many of the same people who brought us the Iraq War. And the idea on the Project New American Century, this is a 1992 or 3, I think it was, a document, was the idea that U.S. will, and at that time, there is no other superpower. U.S. will become a hyperpower. We can maintain this hyperpower status, right? This is the new American century, that being the 21st century. We can maintain this status by essentially allowing for low-level conflicts to exist around the world, which will prevent any type of coalition to fight our power. Iraq was supposed to be the pivot point for this. These are the same people who are upset with George Herbert Walker Bush for not going in to Iraq and doing regime change in 1991, the wake of the Kuwait War. And they believe, this is my opinion, they didn't articulate this, although some of this exists in the Project for a New American Century. Some of it's also a little scary, because it also says, like, we can't possibly go into Iraq unless we have some type of, like, predicate as to like why they're a threat to us. And it ended up being 9/11.
There were PNAC guys on 9/11 saying, this is clearly Palestinian. We need to go into Palestine.
I mean, the idea was, we're going to go in, we're going to overthrow Saddam. It's going to bring about a flourishing democracy in Iraq. We will then go into Syria. And essentially, we're going to flip over all of the regimes and create some type of stability. And of course, the other sort of like less spoken, but it was there, is that we will be in charge of the spigots of where the vast majority of fuel for China's economy will come from, literally. And we'll be in charge of that. If they have to get it from Venezuela, if they have to get it from Canada, it's going to be a lot more difficult than them getting it from the Middle East. And we will be in charge of that spigot. And we will, of course, allow them to have some. But if push comes to shove, we can, make that spigot a little bit slower. And so this is, but it, just like Iraq ended up empowering Iran, and just like the unilateral exit of the Iran nuclear deal has brought them closer to a nuclear weapon, and just like our, support of Saudi Arabia puts us at their whim and, has us like killing people in Yemen. This is really destabilizing for us in terms of in terms of the world. We have lost, increasingly we lose credibility, and it undermines our interests.
Absolutely. No, and I guess what I'm thinking is it seems like that would be the best way to undermine the America First messaging from the right, because they say, this is, we need to do everything at home first. And like really the underlying thing with the Abraham Accords is at the end, the goal is to have that peace agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia, but that requires us to basically be a mercenary force to defend the Saudi royal family and share nuclear technology and really just compromise a lot of American interests.
100%. But to your point, think about what China did in the past, I guess it was 3 years ago at this point, or maybe 2, when they brokered negotiations over Yemen between Iran and Saudi Arabia. They're using soft power to curry favor in the region because they want Middle Eastern oil. What is the United States doing? Funding and abetting genocide. What has them, what is going to build something in terms of influence spheres in the future by by pursuing this path of just brute force?
Yeah, and it's not like China has a great record of dealing with Muslims, particularly within their own borders. So, which is why the State Department was emphasizing Uyghurs so much before it decided to we need to support Israel in genocide in Gaza.
Yep.
Appreciate the call.
Hey, we can have a quick plug.
Yes.
Okay, just a quick thing. Started a podcast recently called Pressure Point Politics on Spotify and YouTube, just talking to local leaders in the battleground districts and states for the election.
Oh, that's interesting.
Awesome.
What is it called again?
Pressure Point Politics. It's like a purple circle, 3 Ps, three separate words in Spotify and YouTube.
All right. Appreciate the call. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.